Hey guys, it's Thankful Thursdays and it's me, Rachel, and I'm here with Kel. I've just realised I got my window open and somebody must be strumming or doing something to their garden, because all I can hear is that noise. So I apologise if that's disturbing. Hopefully it will stop now. Yeah, it's Thursdays and I'm here with Kel, and this week I chose the question actually, and it was actually something that was emailed to me, and part of the reason why I chose this question was because I feel like a lot is covered in these videos on the collab, but I don't really think that anything's particularly been covered on the topic of depression, and I'm wondering whether it would be worthwhile to maybe ask you as viewers or whatever to maybe supply us with more questions that maybe are related to with mental health issues, because I don't think I particularly know very many people who struggle with an eating disorder alone, like independently, and I very much feel that the current criteria for eating disorders is a bit crap, to be honest, and I think that there needs to be some sort of inclusion to do with anxiety disorders or depressive disorders or manic disorders or personality disorders or issues to do with self-injury, and I think that most people who you come into contact with who have eating disorders also have a problem with some of these things, and I know that self-harming is particularly common with eating disorders. Anyway, on to today's topic. The question is there's a number of things within the question really, but the statement sent to me was that often eating disorders are tied in with depression, and when you're put on antidepressants, first of all, how do you know that they're working? I wasn't diagnosed with a complete depressive disorder, but rather a persistent low, mild, medium mood over a period of time. I have been and will always be able to meet my commitments, there is no question about it, depressed or not. So I know that on my current meds that yes, my behaviours are slightly better, and if I go off them I'm completely off the track, but how do I know that I'm at my highest? In terms of highest, I'm assuming that's to do with whether you could actually be any happier than you are now, or feel any less depressed than you are. First of all, medication. Oh, well, maybe first of all I should sort of talk about depression really. Many of you, I'm sure, who are watching this are aware that clinical depression is not only concerned with low mood because of events or circumstances, but very much tied into issues to do with what's going on in the brain, chemicals in the brain, whether these issues in the brain are caused because of an eating disorder and what we do to ourselves, or whether they're already there. I don't think anyone can ever know. For me personally, I've never particularly been a kind of depressive type person. I've always been very upbeat, very optimistic, very happy. I do believe that as a result of starving myself and losing weight and doing all of those things that I caused myself major depression, and the depression that I've experienced has been horrendous and catatonic, and not washing for weeks and not leaving my bed for weeks, months on end. That was a very difficult time in my life, and it seems to be that sorry, somebody's just, there we go. It would seem that my depression is very much tied in with my eating disorder. When my anorexia is very, very bad, my mood tends to, within time, deteriorate, aside from obviously the fake sort of mania that you get from insomnia and starving. So with regards to antidepressants, I do believe that people need antidepressants if they are depressed, but I very much feel that with an eating disorder that it's very much worth stabilising your eating, stabilising your behaviours, stabilising your weight before you necessarily determine whether antidepressants can help you. Antidepressants don't work at very, very low weights, and so it is probably worthwhile trying to establish yourself some stability within your eating disorder before you maybe look at antidepressants. Do antidepressants work? Well, yeah, For me, they do. I'm not only on antidepressants, I'm on a mixture of antipsychotics and antidepressants. I'm on 2 antidepressants and 2 antipsychotics. The combination works brilliantly for me, and it curbs my mania and has stopped me becoming depressed. And so I kind of exist in a kind of happy medium bubble. Sometimes I go up, sometimes I go down, but for the most part I'm stable, and I haven't been depressed for a great number of years now. I think that when it comes to looking at antidepressants, you have to be patient. You have to work very closely with the person who's prescribing you them. I recommend a psychiatrist. Obviously GPs have some knowledge, but quite often you're going to want a combination of medication. Very rarely people are on one medication, and that helps. If you're having issues with sleeping, you might want to look that your antidepressant helps you with that. For instance, I'm on something called trazodone, which puts me to sleep basically, and is a very good antidepressant, and in combination with my other meds works very, very well. Very few side effects. I think I'm perhaps quite lucky in that regard, because I've been on a huge amount of medication in terms of different types of medication. I've also been on huge whacks of medication. My medication right now is, I suppose, to a person who isn't on any medication, that it might seem a lot, but to me it's severely reduced. I'm on Seroquel, trazodone, promazine and duloxetine, and my doses are slowly being reduced, and as I proceed through my recovery in my recovered state, they are beginning to be reduced. So yes, I do believe they can work, and I do believe that I wouldn't be living the life I'm living right now if it wasn't for medication. When I was at my worst with my depression, I couldn't do anything. As I said, I spent probably 3 months in bed. I didn't eat, I didn't talk, I didn't see people, I didn't wash, I didn't do anything. I literally slept and shouted a lot when people tried to come into my room. Just did not function at all, did not function. In terms now, I think, you know, I do stick, if I have a commitment, I stick to it. But I do have my moments, I do have my days when it's kind of like, even the smallest task can seem like as though it's like climbing a mountain. And I guess I've had to just be persistent with that. When I started to recover, my mood was still quite fragile, and it just meant getting up every single day, doing what I needed to do, putting food in my mouth, seeing the people I needed to see, getting into uni, whatever it was, and just doing it. If you've not been diagnosed with a depressive disorder or depression, I don't think it necessarily means that you don't have depression. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who aren't diagnosed with eating disorders and certainly have eating disorders, and there are also a lot of people out there who are diagnosed with EDNOS, and okay, it's a diagnosis, but to me it's kind of like it doesn't really establish very much. It just sort of is a case of, oh, well, you're not anorexic and you're not bulimic. Well, I don't know very many people who are just anorexic or are just bulimic. Most tend to mix between those and compulsive overeating and night eating disorder and orthorexia and overexercising and all the other issues that go with that. How do you know if you're at your highest? I guess for me, I write down stuff. I keep a record, not a record, but I do definitely. Whenever things get tough, I think, you know, but I'm not where I was when I was at my worst. And, you know, if you do believe that you could actually feel better than you do, then keep believing that you do, because I'm happy right now, but I also know there's a hell of a lot more happiness out there for me. I know that I still get quite stressed, not compared to how I used to. I'm pretty laid back, quite a lot laid back, maybe too laid back. And, you know, I get on with my life and I live my life, and I do hope there is a day whereby, you know, yeah, I think I've got that day though, I do. I think I'm at that day where I don't have to deal with anxiety on a daily basis, or depression on a daily basis, or my eating disorder on a daily basis. And so yes, there is a point of, yeah, happiness, of content. It's more content, and it's feeling okay in your own skin, and it's having energy and all of that kind of stuff. And the only stuff that really gets me down now is if I'm due my period and my medication makes me very, very tired. So, you know, be persistent, have faith, and you're going to be okay. Alright guys, I'm going to go because I'm running out of time. Bye.